What's going on, guys? Elite Wolf here, and today I am going to be talking about this video is a little different. I'm going to be talking about Elder Scrolls theory. It's probably one of the biggest, not if not the biggest Elder Scrolls theory. It's on who wins the Civil War, and who do you think's right? Um, who do you think is right in the Civil War? And my video is also going to cover like leading up to maybe the Second Great War, although that's just speculation, like very big speculation. Um, like I said, we don't even know who the winner of the Civil War is. Um, Canonically, I guess head canon, it's whoever you chose. Um, to get this out of the way, the island on the left, Yakuta, I don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that. And now with that out of the way, so if it's like something super important, then and I'm being dumb, then feel free to tell me in the comment section below. Um, By the way, this is a fourth era 201 fourth era 201 map of Tamriel. So, because I gotta be using the most updated map, obviously, especially for a serious speculation video. Um, so I'm gonna be covering, obviously, I'm gonna be covering why the Stormcloaks are right. Um, and I'm just gonna like default say maybe a little bit of why I think they will win. Well, why I think they win, and like leading up to after their victory, things they might do. So first thing I'm going to start off with is just address this. I know there's a quest if you don't choose either Civil War side to where the Dragonborn makes diplomacy between both factions. But before you guys even say anything about that, that is very temporary, and it's only after the Thalmor are dealt with. Um, so war would eventually rage on, and it was basically just a treaty, to be honest with you. Now, I don't know why this map had like a very small amount of blue, because technically it was all still um, Empire, but I guess not, because, Windhelm, obviously, those sides probably could have, like, went into it. But we're gonna say I already outlined the mark, that's all the Stormcloaks, but I couldn't, like, I obviously didn't make the map, props to whoever did, and I had to do all this work. Um, I didn't see any like where to credit this map. But there's blue all around it, and that's Stormcloak territory. Everything Skyrim is Stormcloak. I don't know why I had to like say that. Oh, um, let's see here. So first things first. So the Stormcloaks, they declare independence from the Empire and all of that. But here's why the Stormcloaks are right. Um, well, the thing is, one, just like a very small thing, is the Empire doesn't care for Skyrim or its people. We see this a lot if you side with the Empire. Um, General Tullius shows no care for their traditions or the people. Uh, they're basically just, it's like, oh, well, you're part of the Empire. I don't want you to leave because that make us look weaker. Um, and also because it would give the Thalmor two sides to attack from if they took Skyrim. But it's more just like a oh blah blah blah. A Another reason why I think they're right is just Ulfric, and also on the contrary of the Empire doesn't care. Ulfric really cares for the people of Skyrim. You can see in the speech where he says like I forget the entire speech. Obviously, I don't have it remembered when he's talking to. Oh, it's been so long since I played Skyrim. I think it's Galmor, basically his right hand man. his general basically. Um, and he's speaking to him, and he says like, I fight because blah blah blah. I fight because so that all the fighting I've done in the past isn't for it. But before he says that, he says a lot of stuff like, he cares for Skyrim and her people. You know, he says, what was one of the things? He said like, because I don't want to have to see like the their families like being like have to leave or something, or just letting the Talos, just be worshipped. I don't remember the speech, like I said, so this is like very vague memory. So I'm, I'm like 90% sure I'm wrong, but maybe I'm not. Um, and another thing, speaking of Talos, the Empire just knelt to the Thalmor, um, and um, um, and they banned the worship of Talos all across their provinces, which is at that point a very respected god. Um, and and then they banned it, and then whoever is seen with either like even a Talos like necklace, which I guess would be worship, uh, with like a Talos necklace is immediately just like put it thrown in jail. It's very severely enforced and everywhere, and just because it's like, oh well, blah blah blah. I know I'm saying it blah 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 a lot, but another reason. Now this is more of the Empire. Why you shouldn't choose the Empire? Uh, is the I mean Hammerfell alone. Like after uh, I forget what led up to it, but Hammerfell was like, no, Empire, we're not a part of you anymore. And so they're independent. I forget what it was that they did. I did a lot of research on this topic. In fact, I have like notes right here to remind me of everything because I did so much that it was like I don't want to forget any piece of it. Uh, but it went independent for some reason, and Hammerfell alone was able to stop the Thalmor. And although stop and put them back, like keep the Thalmor at a standstill, and even push them back out of Hammerfell. To be fair, a lot of Hammerfell's like province, like the lower parts, were devastated. But it shows that the Empire was too incompetent. If they could have just kept their cool uh, and stuff, they could have beat the Thalmor. Because if Hammerfell alone could do it, then obviously the Empire could have done it. But no, they had weak leadership from the Emperor. Uh, and it's amazing that Hammerfell could like push back the Thalmor, which is just one province, but the entire empire could barely stop the Thalmor, which proves just how incompetent the empire is. And then when their incompetence loses them the war, they give away all their people's, they take away the rights of their people, uh, just so that the empire, which is already falling apart, mind you, because of ignorant leadership, can stay alive for just a little bit longer, until the Thalmor just decide to snap and have it all gone. But even without the Thalmor, it was falling apart because of incompetent leadership. And speaking of leadership, another reason why I think the Stormcloaks would win. Now we don't know when this takes place. This might take place even after the Civil War. Um, but I'm pretty sure it'd be before the Civil War. Uh, Emperor Titus Mede the second is assassinated by the Dark Brotherhood. Now that doesn't even mean it was your character, and you may say like, well, what if the character didn't go through with the Dark Brotherhood questline? It has been confirmed that even if your character didn't go through with the questline, somebody else does. So no matter what, the guild's operations, everything still happens. So the Emperor's assassinated one way or another, um, which would, when you think, would leave the Empire with throw it into turmoil, which would make it easier for the Stormcloaks to win without strong leadership. Um, which also makes me think that the Empire would be, and for those who say like, oh well, let's just for the Empire, the Imperials that like don't agree with the Stormcloaks, which are obviously why they're Imperials. They're like, oh well, even if the Stormcloaks won, the rest of the Empire would just come in and then take back Skyrim anyways. Well, no, because one, just honestly, there's not too many sides you can attack Skyrim because of the like very high mountains that it has. But even then, the Emperor is dead. They have the Thalmor like ready right there, just waiting to attack them at any time. They're not really gonna care about Skyrim if it already succeeds and wins in the Civil War. It's just gonna be like, oh well, it's their death. Well, at least that's what the Imperials would say. Um, Another reason why Skyrim might win is they 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 could have the Dragonborn on their side. Um, and it depends whether they say if like they confirm that the Dragonborn was on their side, was on the Stormcloak side or whatever. Um, but I do believe that the game was kind of set up for at least at the beginning for the Dragonborn to join the Stormcloaks because don't forget the Empire tried to kill you along with some other Stormcloaks and the Stormcloaks showed remorse for you and a lot less for the horse thief. Speaking of which, you also saw that same horse seat. Oh my gosh, same horse thief. I tried to say, uh, murdered. To be fair though, he did try to run away. Um, but even though you were really just caught trying to cross the border, and the guy was like, oh blah 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 blah. She still said, send him to the block, kill him. Now luckily Alduin was there and killed. Well, oh yeah, I mean he killed a lot of the Imperials there, um, which made the Dragonborn able to escape. Uh, and speaking of Dragonborn and like shouts and stuff, another reason why the Stormcloaks would win is because Ulfric knows how to use the voice. Uh, if you didn't know this, he trained. He was training to become a Greybeard, but then when war broke out, he went down. But he does know how to shout. I mean, you wouldn't have to get too far in the game to know that there's everything going around that's saying like, oh, Storm Ulfric killed the High King. Now, on that topic, just no, okay. Uh, he didn't murder him. He challenged him to to show that there's incompetent rule everywhere. And he challenged him to a duel, which the High King accepted. Um, and then everybody blames. They say that Ulfric Stormcloak's a murderer, even though he accepted the duel. It is in Skyrim's traditions to have that. That's, like if he agrees to the thing, you can challenge the throne. Um, and he won. But it's like, oh well, he won. Still, they're still gonna like, oh, he's a killer. He's not. He won fair and square. It was a duel. He accepted it. I mean, uh, and it just, you know, um, now if I might be, what was I gonna say? So I'm gonna get out of the reasons why the Stormcloaks are in the right. There's probably still more, but what this video really focuses on is after the Stormcloaks win. There's a little bit of why they're right, but this is really more of a why after they win, what happens. Um, but so the Stormcloaks win, they take over all of Skyrim, and I think immediately Skyrim's out of the treaty, of course. Um, so they're out. Skyrim is out. The Stormcloaks are out of the treaty, and could be attacked by the Thalmor. Uh, but I mean, the thing is, I think that they would make an alliance with other independent nations, such as Hammerfell, that also hate the Thalmor. Uh, Just because Hammerfell hates the Thalmor just as much as the Stormcloaks do, and heck, even after they secede, I don't think they would, but it is a possibility they'd side. No, they probably wouldn't side with the Empire. Uh, but if they did, that'd be crazy because it's like, oh, well, then they're all going to band together and fight the Thalmor. Now, although it is very unlikely, we could. I think before I get into the Argonians, even when I get into the Argonians and stuff, Mor Morrowind, I think that Morrowind would stay out of it. They wouldn't get in alliance or in the war at all unless if they are directly threatened by the Thalmor, which I don't think they would be because Morrowind's still a very big province. Um, Now back onto Argonia. The Argonians, now although it's a big stretch, they are independent and they also do not like the Thalmor because the Thalmor hates anybody that's not elves. Um, it might be likely that they would also join the alliance. It is really likely that Hammerfell would join the alliance. Um, so even if they are out of the treaty, the Thalmor would be crazy to the Thalmor would be crazy to attack a three nationed alliance, especially with Argonians, who are just crazy with the hist and stuff. I mean, they drove back Daedra, let alone just some Thalmor. Um, and I mean, and Argonia probably wouldn't join their side. Might not join their side. They might stay out of it because even during the Oblivion Crisis, they said, who cares what happens to the rest of Tamriel as long as the Argonia is safe, which is what they did in the Oblivion Crisis. So I mean, the Thalmor aren't as like dangerous as the Oblivion Crisis. So it's kind of a stretch to say that Argonians would help, but it is a possibility, and I would like to say, just for the sake of this theory, that they do. Um, so they're out. Skyrim's out of the peace treaty, but it still doesn't matter because they're allianced with Hammerfell, which is right by Skyrim, which could they could send soldiers to easily just help Skyrim, um, which could be possible. Because they're just right there. They're neighboring countries. Um, so it'd be easier to help each other defend, which would make it really likely for an alliance. Uh, oh yeah, they are outside of the treaty, but like I said, the alliance would more than likely stop that. No, I'm sorry if I cut. I have the notes up here right now, and I was checking the notes while I was silent. But although I'm not gonna add it into this theory, I would like to say, uh, well, yeah, I have it in my notes. Is rebellions and elsewhere? It has been said that there's like I don't know where, but that there might be like small rebellions and elsewhere against the Thalmor, and I think if somebody just like told some of the Khajiits that could somebody that the Khajiits trusted, like maybe a fellow Khajiit and the Stormcloaks, told them like, the Thalmor are lying to you. They took away the moon, but then gave it back. Uh, which is the only reason the Khajiits are like they're like, oh, I'm indebted to you because of the Void Knights and stuff. But that's a whole different topic. I'm not gonna get into that. But that could possibly make Elsewhere be like, no, and make they'd go independent too, and then more than likely form an alliance with Skyrim and them, or join up with the Empire because Empire's right there, which could it'd be better for defense instead of like Hammerfell. I mean Argonia could come and help, uh, but that's just saying if they are in it. But they might join the Empire because they're just easier. They're right there and they could defend it easily against Valenwood or anywhere, any kind of attack. Um, so I do think there'd be an alliance between them all, and then after that, they would all go up with the Empire, and then they'd go and they'd attack the Thalmor, and more than likely win. Morrowind would stay out of it, of course, because Morrowind basically stays out of most things, just because they do. And also, Morrowind wouldn't join the alliance if the Argonians are in there, because the Argonians just took a lot of Morrowind's land, so they probably wouldn't do that, especially if the Argonians are in there. Um, but yeah, that's really the end of the theory. If I come up with anything else, like a lot more to think about, I will make a part two. Please do feel free to leave comments in the comment section below what you think, any things I may have missed. Um, and if you're an Imperial, tell me why you think I'm wrong. And if you do agree with me, then tell me things I may have missed or just anything really. And if you are new, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.